Wondering if your device supports the Mixed Reality Toolkit? Well, I have great news. The Mixed Reality Toolkit has cross-platform support. So what that means is that you're pretty flexible with regards to which device you could actually use. Now, beyond the HoloLens and the HoloLens 2, you can deploy projects that make use of the Mixed Reality Toolkit to a variety of devices, which include the HTC Vive, Oculus Rift, Oculus Quest, Android and iOS devices, as well as the Leap Motion by Ultraleap.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to this session. Today I'm joined by Simon, who is going to give a talk, and he's going to introduce himself. Simon, do you want to share your screen?
Right. Can I write like this? Yeah, hi, welcome all, and I'm Simon. Today we're going to talk about my XR design process, about tools, best practices, and at the end I'm going to share my resources. About me. I see myself as creative technologist. I'm an XR prototyper, especially focused on haptics and hand tracking scenes. And at the moment, I'm a researcher at the Otto von Guericke University, and where I research on virtual variables. And right, maybe you saw already something on LinkedIn about my ARM interface. Right, but today I want to show you something where I work on. First of all, at the beginning, you can win 3 Shapes XR Pro licenses for 6 months. Therefore, you just have to join Discord and press on the link. I don't know, Saskia, if you are there. Can I share somewhere in the description the link? I'm going to come back to that.
I'm here.
Where can I share a link?
You can send the link. Yes.
Up here.
Is that a link you want me to share?
Yes. Yeah, with that link, you can access the Shapes XR Discord channel. I hope you can press on that somewhere.
I don't think you can, so that's a very long link to
okay,
type.
we're gonna share it later in on YouTube. Maybe.
You can share it in the Discord channel. Like, just share it in the Discord channel of this session later.
Okay. Right. Then we're gonna continue. Right. Right, we're going to talk today about the design thinking process and where we use which tools, and maybe you know about the double diamond method. It's in basically just how you come from a challenge or problem to a solution, and I won't go in details of this principle. But yeah, at the beginning you do research, you try to understand the problem, you discover where the challenge is. You define some you take all the insights you get and you shrink them down to a defined problem. And with that problem, with how might we solve this thing, you go into an ideation phase. And there are several ways how you do that. There's, for example, from Interaction Design Foundation, looks like this. You emphasize at the beginning, then you define, then you ideate, then you prototype, and then you test, or here more in detail. But I don't want to go in details here. I'm going to share the slides later on. We're going to focus on one special phase. It's the ideation, prototyping, and testing today. Right, let's dive directly into the design challenge. I took the design challenge from the Shapes XR contest, where you can also apply or submit your idea. It's the design challenge is the future of media consumption in the metaverse. How are we interacting with UIs for consuming media, for watching Netflix, for scrolling through Instagram, whatever. And right, you can participate to the contest on shapesxr.com/contest, and I can highly recommend to try it and to participate. And today I'm going to show you how I did the ideation process behind it, which tools I used, and what was my best practice in the last year, where I dived deeply into all these tools. Right, let's start with the ideation in Figma. I'm gonna open my Figma board, and I used Figma Jam for my master thesis. Maybe I should also tell you what I studied. I studied interaction design in my master's, and in my bachelor's I studied digital media, media management, and communication. I just recently finished my master thesis, where I learned all this new approach. And right, in my master thesis I used Miro. I think you know that tool, but this time I tried to jump on Figma Jam, and I have to say it's pretty awesome for designers, because you can directly switch from your Figma files to Figma Jam and do it all in one application. And it's in total more designer friendly, I would say, and more aligned to a grid. On Miro, everything is very messy, and yeah. So let's start here. I prepared something. Oh, one moment here. Our design challenge is, how are we consuming media in the future metaverse? And I formulated some more sentences to choose or to focus on a specific task. So next is, how are we interacting with UIs, and how are we sharing these experiences with friends? And for my design thinking process, or the goal of the design thinking process is to generate a lot of ideas in a short amount of time, and in a team, and to use methods to get your creativity muscles on fire. And right, I like a lot the 4C method from AJ and Smart. The basic is you collect challenges, ideas, data, inspiration, so everything what's regarding this topic that you have to solve. And then you define your scope, and you choose where you want to focus on, to have a clear direction in a team. And there are also methods for that, like dot voting, creating opportunity questions, and like how might we solve the problem x epsilon. And right, and then afterwards, when you know what you want to solve, you create a solution. You go into the solution building process, and there are a lot of methodologies that you can use, like 10 for 10. It's a prioritized list of solutions for the how might we questions. Then you generate ideas and curate your 10 own favorites, and then at the end, all are voting the 10 favorites. And there are also methodologies like brainwriting or speed sketching and storyboarding afterwards. We will go through some of the methods later. And right, and at the end, the team commits to one item that they're gonna solve, or that is the actionable item. And there are methods like action boards, transformed impact effort matrix. But that's not the focus today, but I'm gonna explain later how it works. For the first step, collect, I'm gonna show you my Notion board. I got here some resources that I'm gonna share also at the end. And yeah, I'm using Notion almost for everything what has to do with organizing your knowledge, organizing your inspirations, and right here are, for example, some interaction inspirations. I add them always as thumbnail and then as video in the file. And yeah, right, just to give you a brief insight.
Number 9. Here's an example of a throw.
Yeah, and you get access to all this inspo board later. And yeah, right. So I'm collecting at first everything from the internet that I can find that inspires me to create something new. And yeah, I'm using Dribbble, LinkedIn, Twitter, especially Twitter. There's lots of stuff that you can find there. Just follow some AR creators. I also have some of them in my list down there. Most inspiring experts here: Adam Berger, Vova, and Ricardo Acosta. Here, Eugene is also very inspiring, and Eric Pringer, also amazing stuff he's doing at Unity, and also Dennis Kühnert or Daniel Bouchamp. Just follow them and you will get stuff and get further links. Yeah. And right, this is an overview with some inspirations. And then in the next step, I collect the ones that inspires me most, or that fits especially to that topic. And yeah, as you see here, I collected them just very roughly on a mood board. Here, for example, macOS Reality from Dominik Hofacker. And this also some floating UIs, or with passive haptic feedback on your table, or here a bit overloaded UI for consuming media with Unreal. Yeah, I can also recommend to follow the headset manufacturers like Spectacles from Snap, like Unreal, Microsoft HoloLens. Follow them. They always share stuff from creators to promote the hardware. Yes, and right. When I feel inspired, I start with Brainwriting, and I can recommend to do that in a team, because then you can use two brains and merge your ideas. And yeah, in the Brainwriting methods, or in every solution building methods, it's important to have a time limit where you are pressured, or where you work under pressure, because then you create a lot of ideas and don't waste too much time on one idea that you have in mind. Yeah, that's, as you see here, it's time for stretching or flexing your creativity muscles. I love here the functionality where you can interact with friends or in the boards. That's amazing, this functionality. That's something I miss at Miro. I don't know if they added it already. It has been some time since I used it the last time. However, we are on the Brainwriting method. The idea from Brainwriting is that you have 3 times 5 minutes. So in 5 minutes, you create as much ideas as possible to this design challenge that you defined. Then after these 5 minutes, you're gonna switch the line to line 2, and or it was like you switch the ideas from your partner. So in this phase, and it's the ideation that I did in the last days. So I did it alone, but when you are in a team, you switch the ideas. So the other person has this board as well. I'm gonna show it quickly. Yeah, as well, and then you change to the other side, and you're gonna develop the idea from the person beside you. So for example, I had my ideas on the right side, and now in the second session, I'm gonna watch in the first row. Okay, Netflix reality slider. Choose how much you want to be immersed into a movie, and then I try to adapt this idea, try to make it better in the next session, 5-minute session. And you do this 3 times, and then you have a bunch of ideas, like 2, 3, 5 ideas with 3 different versions of them. And that's a nice way to get a lot of ideas in a short amount of time. Let's maybe go through the ideas in detail. Yeah, as you saw, the first idea is a Netflix reality slider, so that you can choose how much you want to be immersed into the movie. The second idea is the surface UI, so you can snap the mid-air interfaces onto your couch, and then everything around you can get an UI, and with the passive haptic feedback, when you touch your couch, it gets more you have more the sense of presence of this UI. And tie scroll, yeah, you can scroll through Twitter when you just scroll on your ties, and a bit like this here as inspiration. That's on the table. Then watch your fist to see context-aware visual wearables around your arm. This also like you watch your wrist, your fist, and then a UI appears, and it shows content like the Apple Watch, that with the information level of your Apple Watch, that it's not too detailed, but yeah, it gives you rich information. And then the last thing is the bloom gesture. It's this gesture. Maybe you know it from HoloLens 1, I think. With the bloom gesture, the idea was to spawn your last saved objects from your scene to your walls, that you are, when you're, for example, in your living room, the movie gets attached on your wall, and your UI elements are back on the couch, or your whatever you had last time is back in the room. And right, that were my first 5 ideas. And then in the next step, I went to speed sketching. I can very recommend to use Procreate. I don't know if it makes sense that I show you. Yeah, Procreate is, in my opinion, the best sketching tool, and it's very, very intuitive. And I can highly recommend to use it for sketching with iPad. I think you see it here. And even with older iPads, it's the iPad Pro 9-inch. And it's awesome to do stuff like this. So there I just tried to visualize the ideas that I had as text. And afterwards, in a group, you would do the dot voting to focus on one idea. Therefore, you can use here this function. And then when you decide for one idea that you want to focus on, you do storyboarding. That's very, very helpful to get a sense for this vision that you have, because in VR or AR, you need to be able to visualize what happens in the user flow. There's just one image is not enough. Right, so I created a storyboard to visualize this reality slider, and I added also some more stuff that you see later. Here, for example, at first you have just this on and off button. You press this, and then your reality slider appears with some more buttons, and you can also use your left hand finger and thumb slide to switch through different apps, or you can and you can also watch in front of you and switch through different apps and start, for example, Netflix, and then you have on the side some information about actors. I think there's a name for this feature, but you have also with Amazon X-ray function, don't know. And on the side you have some meta information to the film if you want to, but just when you watch to the side. And in front of you, you can decide the size of your screen. And with the reality slider, you can move inside, really like in a VR environment, into the scene and look around. And that was the basic idea. And afterwards, if you are in a team, you would also decide which idea has the most impact and less effort. If it makes sense, this impact effort matrix is helpful for that. For my process, I didn't need it really much, but I'm gonna explain it because it can help in a team a lot to get faster to a decision. So when you have your ideas that you want to place on the impact effort matrix, at first you ask the team. So you take your post-it in the center, and then you ask the team how much impact does this idea has, and then they say more, up, and then you ask the team how much effort this could be, and then they say high, low, and you just listen to the crowds and move the post-it, and then at the end you are at this point. And then you see in these quarters what you should do with this idea. So for example, high impact and low effort is a task that you should do now. If it's high impact and high effort, then it should become a big project. If it's low on both sides, then it's just a task that you can do quickly. And when it's low impact and high effort, you should ignore that idea at first. Yeah, so right, this process could help you maybe to focus your or to create quickly ideas and decide for one and focus on one idea. I got also my keynote. One moment, some more slides with moving things. Let's see. I think this one. Yeah, there you see the drawing process. That's also a nice thing from Procreate, where you can just export your time lapse of your creation. Right, I'm gonna move a bit. And here the same for the storyboard. Very quickly. Tuck. Yeah, that's the creation process. So now in the next step, it's time to switch to the low fidelity prototyping. Maybe you remember the double diamond shape. So you create ideas, you open your mind, you create ideas, and then you close it again through prototyping, through deciding for one idea. So now we are at the stage of prototyping. We start with low fidelity to save time, and Shapes XR is pretty new, and I can absolutely recommend this application because the onboarding process is so fast and easy, and that's important for this ideation method where you need a clear, free mind to just give space your creativeness or your creativity. Right, here you see how it looks like. I recorded in the last hours my creation process in a time lapse, and there you get a brief overview of how it looks like. I'm gonna explain later the concept. Oh, one moment, that was a bit fast. Let's switch here. Yeah. You can also import your sketches and yeah, that you can start directly from your ideation or from a sketching to VR. It's very important to quickly move to VR because that's the space where you are at the end, and the methods that we had before are all in 2D, but it's not enough anymore to stay in front of the screen. So you have to switch very early into VR and get a sense of space. Hope it's not too fast. Yeah. Unfortunately, I don't know how to remove the bar without switching to the next slide. However, we're gonna survive it. Yeah, right. Gonna move forward. So I created every piece to communicate. The nice thing of Shapes XR is also with the new function of, maybe I'm gonna explain it later because it's overwhelming. Let's switch here. Yeah, I think we're gonna see later more in the live demo with Gabriel. In 5 minutes, Gabriel will join my Shapes XR session, and then we're gonna show you live how this application works. And the nice thing of Shapes XR is that you can also export your scene directly into Unity. Unity is the tool, I think you know it, for creating interactive prototypes. So here, for example, you see I just added space code, and then you see the stages. You can switch through every stage and use the components as inspiration to continue with MRTK or with other frameworks, or just making things interactive with the foundation of Shapes XR. That is very handy. Right. And in the next step, it's recommended to, or I can recommend to use Tvori for high fidelity prototyping. There you can, like in this example from my master thesis, you can do high fidelity 3D animations in a short amount of time. So this, for example, I created in 3 or 4 hours without strong knowledge before. So yeah, that's also very helpful to save time compared to Cinema 4D or whatever tool you prefer from the past. Yeah, this, for example, the UI elements from Tvori. And yeah, afterwards, when you have the low fidelity prototype and the high fidelity animated prototype, the interactive prototype is the next step. And here I can recommend to use Unity and MRTK. MRTK is the mixed reality toolkit from Microsoft. It's yeah, it's helping to to reduce the time also, because it's a framework and you just have to maybe I show it later how it looks like, then you understand a bit more. With the MRTK framework, there's also a template for Figma that I can also recommend to use. It helps you a lot to design beforehand the user interface with all icons and where you want to position what. And it's also nice that they created it in Figma. It's a common tool for designers. And yeah, they even created a Figma Unity bridge. So you can design your idea in Figma and then go in Unity, import it from Figma, and then you have your MRTK elements directly in Unity and are ready to to make things interactive and work with each other how you want it to work. That's very handy, and thanks a lot to Jon Park, shout out. And yes, that's where we go through. And yeah, that's actually the whole process. For knowledge management, I can recommend to use Notion. It's as I said at the beginning, my living room, my digital living room, and all my resources that I can recommend for the process are on the link that I'm gonna share afterwards, or you have the link also here. The best would be if you really join the Discord from Global XR conference. That is everywhere in the on my sharings that I had on LinkedIn. Right, and there I'm gonna post the link from my resources and the link for the Shapes XR giveaway. Right. Maybe I quickly go through Notion. Yeah, I wanted to show you quickly that how it looks like inside. Here are some resources for Shapes XR, like OBJs that you can import, some chairs, tables, and stuff that I prepared. Here are also some brushes for Procreate, or just one actually, that I use. I just use the Rundpinsel and Streamline. And here my gesture settings for Procreate that I can recommend. When you dive deeper, you will understand how to use it. Right, and here are the links of Figma, also with the MRTK Figma bridge, and the Figma template. I also created one template with an icon library that you can use. Feel free to use it. And below that, some tools to record your screen, to create GIFs, or shortcuts to download Twitter videos for your inspiration database. And also a list of, here, for example, a list of online resources for ideation methods, for facilitating ideation workshops. There's a bunch of methods that you can go through to create ideas. I can very recommend to go through that. Also, this workshopper playbook, there you're gonna see the 4C method that I used today. And here's some further links, like current design tools and frameworks beside MRTK, very recommended. And some getting started links for Unity and MRTK if you are very new to it, for designers out there. These helped me a lot to start, especially videos from Dilma, from Dapper Dino, basic Unity stuff. Use that. And here my hardware setup for VR, PC, and haptic stuff that I didn't talk today, but there are other videos where you can get to know that, what I'm doing and what I did in the past. And here's some inspirations and best practice guides from Ultraleap and design process from Microsoft. Very recommended, this one. And here my favorite books and favorite experts, and that's it. Here, these resources you can get for free afterwards. And yes, so let's maybe meet Gabriel in Shapes XR. I'm gonna try to share my, now you see StreamYard. I think that's the end, right? Here's also a nice quote. Don't let anyone else ever tell you that you can't work on a technology you find cool. The only person holding you back is yourself. Make some time, take some risk, find a way to do what you love. And that quote helped me a lot in the last year as a designer who is a bit afraid of of coding to dive into all that and to see that it's possible. And yeah, XR is a great new field to explore for interaction designers, for UI UX people, for computer scientists. And yeah, I hope I could inspire some people for that. And let's dive into Shapes XR in the live demo with Gabriel from Shapes XR. One moment, I'm gonna take on my headset and try to connect my Quest with my computer. Oculus casting. There we go. So is it possible for me to share? Where's StreamYard? Here's StreamYard. I want to share my tab. Let's share it here. Chrome tab, Oculus, audio. Okay. Something went wrong. Let's try it again. Hope you can see it. Yes, can. So now there should come something. Microphone. And screen crop. Okay, we're already here. Let's see. Now my audio's on.
Hi, Simon.
Okay, you're already here. Where are you? I can't see you.
Here I am.
Where? I want to find you.
In the room.
In the room. Okay. However, I need to figure out if the stream is working. One moment. Not that we talk to each other and nobody can see us. Did you have the problem in the past that the casting isn't working, or is it just me?
Wait a second. Let me try to
Something went wrong. Amazing when technology works. Not.
Yeah, the casting, I don't see it right now, but there is some delay.
It's loading. Let's look. Is it possible that you join the meeting in StreamYard? I don't know if the host is here. One moment.
It is possible that he joins.
Can Gabriel join here? And he shares
if it's really quick, because we're already.
That would be perfect.
Of course, you just have to share the link with him because.
Okay, Gabriel, I'm gonna send you the link.
I can try to do some next.
And I'm gonna share it in Discord. Oh, that's missing an eye.
I see, there he is.
Nice, welcome. Hi, Gabriel.
Here it is.
So saved my life here.
let me share. Let's see.
So for people who don't know Gabriel, he's from Shapes XR.
Hi guys.
Business developer, I think. And community manager.
Yes. A little bit of everything. As when you are in a startup, it's.
Yeah.
Let me cast.
Yeah, maybe we reduce it to 5 minutes because we want to have also Q&A afterwards.
Yeah.
So we quickly show you.
Let me share my screen. screen. Share screen. Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna turn off my audio here.
Can everybody hear us now?
I'm gonna come back to shapes. Turn off my mic here.
So, okay, Simon, can you speak a sec? I think we should be okay.
So I'm in shapes. I turned off my mic. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, I hope everyone else can also hear me.
Yes.
Should. Okay.
I am not sure everybody can hear us during the streaming. But I think it should be okay. I think people should be able to hear both of us.
Okay. Yes. Okay. So let's assume that you are a client. I want to show you what I created. Want to pitch you my concept, and yeah, let's meet in the first frame, on the first step, and let's watch out of the point of view from the person on the seat. The idea of how I see the future of media consumption is when you sit in the living room, everywhere or everything can become a interface. Like here, you press the on button, and now I'm switching to frame 2, and you get haptic feedback through your wristband, and the wristband detects your touch on the touch on the surface. And the reality slider appears, and on your left hand you can slide with your thumb over your finger, and when you look in front of you, you can switch switch the application you want to select. And then Jason337 joined on your right side, and your friend want to participate this experience, and then you can decide with the reality slider how much you want to be immersed into the scene together with your friend. And and then you play the movie. You are completely, now I'm on stage 6. You're completely immersed into the scene, and you can use the quick actions on your left hand. When you go to scene step 7 or step 8, you can see how you switch through the steps or through the icons. Or the applications. And then you can reduce the reality slider to the half, that you have just a big screen in your room, and it interacts like in mixed reality with your surrounding, add some virtual objects. It's just some concept. And on slide 9 we are now. And when you move to slide 10, I thought also it could be interesting to be able to scroll on your ties. So you can scroll through content or through Twitter, whatever, or Instagram, and have something like a laptop size thing on your in front of you, and in front of you, that you can direct manipulate or interact with the objects. Yeah, that's it. And when you turn around, you see that I added in the scene the sketches and the mood board. It helps at the beginning to get inside the scene and to start. Yes, that's it from my side. Maybe Gabriel, you want to add something? Do you have questions?
I mean, it's a pretty comprehensive user flow, I think so, and it's great to see it really in VR directly, right? Because you get the story, but then I suppose that there was a lot that happened while you were here deciding on where this UI would be and how things would work. So it does make a big difference when you start doing this in VR, I think.
Absolutely. You get a sense for 3D, and it's absolutely different to 2D when you design in Figma, just the icons, layout and stuff. It's just a new way of thinking, and Shapes XR is just the app for designers in this stage of prototyping. And yeah, I hope I could inspire some fellow designers or computer scientists to try to visualize your ideas, try to go through the XR design process, and use Shapes XR for that. Right. Anything else you want to say?
No, thank you very much, Simon. Best of luck with the rest of the talk.
Thanks. Okay, then let's meet again for the Q&A in stream. I hope you can hear me again. I activated the mic.
Hey, thank you so much. Thank you so much for this talk and for this little live demo. It's always really exciting.
Yeah.
Really cool. Thank you, and thank you for like sharing all the tools you use with us, and then how you prototype. That is really interesting talk. We don't have a lot of questions. I hope people, if you still have questions, post them on YouTube now.
Right.
I have one remark. In the beginning, you shared a link to the Shapes XR Discord. That link only works if you are already on the server.
Okay.
So maybe also share an invite link to the Shapes XR server
Okay.
later
then maybe,
in the Discord channel of this talk.
okay.
And I have a question. Diana wants to know, can you give us an example of using Miro?
Yes, I can share my screen quickly. I use Miro for my master thesis, and Miro is perfect also if you want to sketch directly with the iPad app inside Miro, so you don't need several other apps, and you can directly sketch on on Miro. Let me share my screen. Second here. So yeah, here for example, I collected all the resources I need. For example, pre-made hands from Microsoft, some templates for brainwriting, for storyboarding, other methods, Scampers, or Lightning Decision Jam. But in the end, I just used the 4C method with brainwriting, and I can recommend a lot for the beginning when you feel uninspired. Just do dumb stuff. Just create ideas that don't make sense, to get fun, to be in a fun environment, to give your mind the freedom to think in every direction. And when you are in this mood, you can, when you did the dumb stuff, I think there's a method called Dark Horse or something. I have to re-look for that. Then you get into the mood of creating valuable ideas. And with affinity diagrams, you can select stuff in categories and stuff. Yeah, I don't want to go too much in details because we're running out of time, but that's how I did it in Miro, and that are also the scribbles I created in Miro here. Very rough, but enough to communicate your idea.
Cool.
Yeah.
Maybe you can hang out a little bit in your Discord channel after this talk if people have more questions.
Yeah.
I have one more question from Rachel. How long did the proto take to build in Shapes XR? Can you talk more about testing?
Actually, I did everything today and yesterday. So so I think the Shapes XR prototype was done in 5 hours, 6 hours or something. Yeah. But you can do it very more rough, and you don't need to spend so much time in details. But as designer, you want to play a bit. I also can recommend to play around with your environment to get into the 3D space and decorate your space how you want to have it, that you feel comfy and feel inspired. Testing, right? User testing. You can use Unity to do user testing and to export an Excel sheet from your application. And I did that with MRTK. It works perfectly, and you can just track time, how much scrolls you did through an interface, and the Excel sheet can be saved locally on your standalone device from Oculus Quest. And this helped me a lot to reduce the hardware. So I actually could do the evaluation with participants just with the Oculus Quest and my haptic wristband for my study. And the rest can be done in Numbers or Excel, where you can filter your necessary values and put everything into the R statistics software to get plots and whatever. Yeah.
So, but what do you do if you have something that MRTK, for example, doesn't support? Because MRTK works on the Oculus and on the HoloLens. What if you're designing for an HTC Vive, for example? Can you still use it, or do you have to use another tool?
On my list of frameworks, you see if it's supported or not. So which framework supports which platform. In my Notion list, you see that. I think MRTK supports that, and with the development of OpenXR, it gets more and more open to a lot of platforms, a lot of headsets, and yeah. But if for a reason MRTK doesn't work, is not good, yeah, I have to say I have no experience with other frameworks, but there is XRTK, who's an open source framework where no company is behind it. There's VRTK, and yeah, you can also just use the Oculus examples and work with them, but there you have to build a lot on your own. So that's why I love MRTK. There are all the mechanics of UI elements that are already done, and you can adapt everything, really. It's so open, you can design your own UI. It doesn't have to look like Windows, Microsoft stuff. You can just use their mechanics and your own design behind it. And that makes MRTK very powerful.
Truth, yes. I'm also a big fan of the Unity Figma bridge for MRTK.
Yeah.
And we have one last question from Diana. What's your number one recommendation when prototyping?
Number one recommendation when prototyping to the experience, something you should. Number one recommendation when prototyping for introduction to user. So for prototyping, for low fidelity prototyping, my number one is, as you saw, Shapes XR. And I like it because it has a very low barrier of onboarding. So you just need 15 minutes going through some tutorials, or even don't go through them and play around and figure out how it works. But I can recommend to go through because there are functions that help a lot to reduce the pain. But it's just 15 minutes, and yeah, and then you are on it and can start creating, can do whatever you have in mind, and can import with OBJ importer stuff from Sketchfab or from wherever you find OBJs in the internet that are maximum 10 megabytes. That's the difficult barrier, but everything below 10 megabytes can be uploaded through the web importer, and it's very easy and handy to prototype and show your idea. And there's a function you can also invite people that have no VR headset. They can join over the browser and see everything with mouse and keyboards and fly through the world. And that's also a function I didn't show today, but you can try it out on your own. Yes.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. We're out of time, unfortunately. So thank you again very much for this really cool talk. And well, goodbye.
Yeah, goodbye. Thanks a lot. And yeah, hope you learned something new.